and welcome back to La-Mulana. Before we re-enter the ruins, let's go talk to Elder Zeltwood first. I'm thinking about turning the ruins into a tourist destination. Could take the foreigners' money, sell them souvenirs. Could maybe even round up some candidates for a harem. What do you think? I think it will be a lot safer returning to the life-threatening ruins of La-Mulana than staying here with you. So let's do it. So in the previous part, we completed the Gate of Guidance. There's only one puzzle left to do, but we can't do it yet, which is the one where those spikes come up if we put down a weight. We have to enter from a different area to solve that. And we beat the Guardian of this area, Amosfina. So I'm going to show you here what happens if you run off a platform. You just fall like a brick and can't move whatsoever until you land. So that's why it's always a good idea to jump off platforms, which is what I've been doing so far. I forgot that after playing the game so much it comes naturally, so I forgot to mention it. So this area is known as the Mausoleum of the Giants. And this is the second main area of the game. So these are the ruins of beings known as giants. I am just this close to deciphering the legend of the giants, but he kinda died. So like with the Gate of Guidance, this area is quite straightforward with the puzzles. There are only really two puzzles that stand out. One of them is to do with finding the name of one of these giants. We were unable to fulfill the Great Mother's wishes. Now I too, the last remaining of us, am due for a long slumber, Abuto. So like you see there, that person is called Abuto. So we have to find the corresponding name to one of the giants in this area to solve the puzzle. The second puzzle we don't have to solve for a very long time. And this one we're going to go and solve right now. Because we need to do something to get rid of those spikes so we can properly land that weight on the dais down there. So these leech-like enemies are really annoying because they hop out of the way of your whip a lot of the time. So this wall can be destroyed, and if we use ranged weapons we can then jump over here. So as you can see in the background, if we step on this, it will activate something that is attached to it, which will get rid of those spikes above us. This is where the Ghost Lord lives. Come one, come all, the Ghost Lord will appear before your eyes. Gather around, sit tight until he is full grown. So that's the hints to this upcoming mini-boss, but it's a little bit misleading. Because it makes it sound like you're supposed to just stay still, but you're not. For the tower to fly, much water was needed. Nagella carried a lake to this land, then drew his last breath. If you take a note of the picture there, several of these tablets throughout the game will have pictures on them, and they are usually very important. I'm not so sure with that one there. So here, we need to kill 3 of these ghosts. That should do it. There we go. And this will summon the mini-boss. Which is just a big ghost. So this is incredibly easy, unless it's annoying, and I get hit by it, obviously, the very first time it tries to attack me. All you have to do is move out of it and whip it when it comes down. Sometimes it seems to disappear a bit too early though and you can't get a whip on it, which is kind of annoying. There we go. Rolling Shuriken. A Cromlech. Resembles the Orikanju Cromlech located in the Akita province of Japan. Like I said in the last part, I'm an unsophisticated Englishman, so if I mispronunciate things, please don't get too upset. Concerned with his brothers, Ribu dug a hole to send the lake's water to the tower. His strength exhausted, he then laid down to rest. Ghosts are frightening. I know, man. So that rolling shuriken is quite a useful weapon and we'll be using it a few times later. Rather than going straight forward, I may as well show it now, this one goes along the bottom. Which can be used to hit some things beneath us, obviously. Now, there is a one-way door there, but it will actually be... Well, I was going to say it would be better for us to go above, but maybe not. What I was wanting to do was hit this, but we could have done it from either side. It can be a little bit weird getting up on those platforms. The sun shone brightly the day Leidu fell in battle. A gaping hole in his chest, he entered his eternal slumber. Because if you jump on these from too high up, you get hit by the spikes. So I'll just show here that there's a collapsing floor there. But rather than just being a trap per se, it's actually quite useful because we need to get to that machine you see on the left later. Abuto, G, Ribu and Sakit all hoped there would come the day when the mother would live in this land. Here he's telling us about the secrets to find the names of the leaders in their history. But first off, what we're going to do is get that. 'Twas a moonlit night when G started praying to the land. Behold the Mausoleum of the Giants. The sad memories of the Giants are contained within. So now we can walk down here and quick save, which means I'm going to show you a little secret in this game. And the reason I saved is because you've probably guessed it's quite a nasty secret. The mother was great, she made even the giants look tiny. The giants were great, thou art tiny, like a little doll. That seems to be a throwaway line, but it's actually important for a puzzle later in the game. A nebulous sky disk lies beneath this land. Leap onto what floats from there from high above. The heavens shall then move at your command. So if we examine this here, thou art forbidden from again laying eyes on this marker. Thou who heed not this warning will suffer the pain of death. Well, I'm curious, so what happens if we look again? Mongol who disobeyed the warning, taste bitter death. And we died. So that's our first game over. So if you're wondering what that was with the skulls that appeared, that is hard mode. That's actually how you activate hard mode in this game. And I'll be doing a second playthrough after this one, where I sequence break quite a lot to get some good equipment, and we go through hard mode of the game. Wanchina, deity of the sky, resembles the sky deity that appears in Aboriginal mythology, resembles an astronaut in full gear. Because there's an achievement for beating all of the bosses on hard mode. So we can't do it from this point on since we've already killed Amspina. A blanket of countless stars spread over Beidou, falling into a deep slumber. And here we buy one of the most important items in the game, the Hermes boots. And these increase our movement speed, permanently, which is amazing. And these are also actually needed for a puzzle later in the game. So it's good that they're mandatory, because it would be really annoying not to use them. Thou who plunder the red jewel shall never escape. Zebu, the firstborn, was holding up the land and thus unable to move. Strength lies at the foot of Futo, but which one is Futo? So that's the main puzzle of this area, is finding out which one of these things is called Futo. Because if you place a weight under any of them, and they're not Futo, spikes appear. So it is possible to just brute force this, and the one called Futo never changes on subsequent playthroughs, so I know it's this one right here. So we've unlocked that now, and I'll pick it up later, because it's another health upgrade item, so it'll give us a full heal. But as we go on, I'll just find if we can discover which one Futo is naturally from these. So Zebo would not budge, for he was the one who sustained the land, but the rest of them split into two sides and continued the battle. The first child had the body of a snake, the second child a large body, the third child soared through the sky, the fourth child had the body of a fish, the fifth child had wisdom, the sixth child was born of the earth, the seventh child cast the mother away, the eighth child did not know the mother. Let us place the spirits of the ninth child into the body of child 0. And here he tells us about jumping on switches. The Nazca Line, a series of ancient geoglyphs located in the Nazca Desert of Peru. This mural represents one of these geoglyphs, said to be of a tree. It seems to be drawn upside down in this mural. You'd think out of all the things that I would have trouble pronouncing, it wouldn't be one I actually knew what the word was. In order to return the mother to the heavens, Bedo, Magella, Lado and Futo built a giant tower. And I fell by accident instead of jumping, obviously. So here, we need to jump from high above. Seems like this contraption you need to land on the floating platform with a lot of power. It won't budge if you don't jump from high enough. Proof? I jump about as good as a stone, so when I hopped onto the platform, I slipped and fell to my death. How is that for your proof? Okay, Ghost Guy, no need to get angry. The celestial bodies lie within. Control the celestial bodies and even time may be shifted. There's a surprising amount of hints that tell you about how to solve that puzzle there. So since we've now activated that and put it as a sign of a star, this will fall on us. And if you go underneath here, you take about 100 points of damage and you'll probably instantly die at this point in the game. I would show it, but you know, then I'd have to get back here again. Magella is left-handed. So even though we've come here, you can now see that on the left side, that pedestal has appeared. And that wasn't there previously. So we actually need to get about 180 coins at the moment for a puzzle upcoming, just so we don't have to do any backtracking later in the game. So at the moment I'm saving all my money to hopefully get 180 gold. So now if we go over here, we can now loot the Ankh Jewel. Of course, first off we have to make sure we don't get hit by bats. So that will trap you inside, but obviously we can already just warp out anyway. I'm trying to hit this. There we go. And that will also free us. That was a surprising amount of effort just to show that that's a way that you can free yourself if you destroy that ahead of time. Well, by this point you probably have the ability to warp out anyway. So now we need to set it to the sun. Actually, no, we need to set it to the moon. My bad. No, it is sun. Okay. I did actually write these down because I knew I'd screw it up. So now that it's set to the sun, we can solve another puzzle, but we'll return to it later. The youngest Sakit tread his own path. He put a key on Ladu's body, falling into slumber with powers in his hand. You see that this statue seems to be pointing my urn over there. I just wanted to point that out now, because there might be a puzzle related to that later. We are the second race born of a great mother. We were created in order to return the mother to the heavens. Let me tell you the sad tale of our race. The race began with the 9 brothers, Zebu, Beidou, Nagella, Lado, Futo, Abuto, Ji, Ribu, and Sakit. Just wait for this to move so we can try and get some more coins up here. There we go. So even though I'm doing this in a linear fashion, we do occasionally need to jump into new areas. So here is the Endless Corridor. Call forth a dragon that sleeps in this land. Follow the true flow, and the answer shall be entrusted to the dragon. So I just want to say now that we won't be coming back here for a long time, but there is one thing that's important to do here first, because it will make all of our lives a lot easier. So you can see there's another one of those seals down there that we need to break. Behold the endless corridor, a long, endless path. It must to enter this area. Oh my, you're human. I am the Queen of the Fairies that live in these ruins. The 4 philosophers instructed us to help the humans who visit us here, and thus we have been waiting. My fellow fairies will help you, but first you must prove that you're worthy of our power. Found Isis' pendant, which lies somewhere in these ruins. Bring the pendant to me, only then shall we be able to help you. Also, this has the best email of them all. Fairies, yo! What's up, it's me! About his race called Fairies still living in the ruins, yo! I hope you hold the right treasure. That's right, so who knows where the treasure is? You know what I'm saying? Check the map with suspicious names, check it out, yo! We are taking a lot of damage here, but we're going to get that full heal in a moment anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's worth saying that we just heard a horn then, from that indicates we solved a puzzle, and that puzzle is just opening this. If you go through the endless corridor one time, then it just gives you the map. As you can see, the map is basically just a big block. This place is full of puzzles, but we can't do any of them until later in the game. So we'll just turn around for now. What was important was talking to the fairy there, because that will activate the ability to get Isis' pendant. And I know Isis, but remember it is actually a good name that came from a Egyptian god, so it wasn't always a bad name. That's bad. Okay, if we get hit one more time, we're probably dead, so I think we should get that full heal now. Here we go. Nicely timed full heal. So this guy is back upright, don't ask how that works. And since we activated the sun, we can now... I screwed up the jump. Put a weight down here, and that will activate the Ankh being summoned to fight the boss. And now we're going to go into a different area. This is the Twins' Labyrinth. The twins were the sole survivors of the first child. The hero of the third child captured them, and thus obtained the wisdom of the first child. So this is another area that we won't be returning to for a long time. But the reason I'm coming down here now is because there are 2 items to grab, which are vital for us. The first one is in here, and it is the waterfall helmet. So now we can go past waterfalls, including the one on the overworld, so we can now go more that direction. We also need to buy 4 of those. And now if we enter again, since we have spent 100 gold, and just follow me on this, it means that we are now a good enough customer for his big brother to allow us to shop there. Yes, that's a puzzle. You need to spend 100 gold in that shop to be able to open another shop in the game. Don't ask. So there's an ant up here. Let's go grab it. Ah, bats! So this place is currently a maze, so if we go back down, we actually come to the Big Brother shop. And I screwed up the number, we actually need 100 to buy the dragon bone. I'm gonna have to do that later. In the first age of the sun, we were destroyed by flood. In the second age of the sun, the fourth child was destroyed by the god of the wind. In the third age of the sun, the fifth child was destroyed by the god of the fire. In the fourth age of the sun, the sixth child was destroyed by the rain and blood of fire. The seventh child disappeared from that era of their own accord, thus survived the first age of the sun. Ye, the eighth child, shall be destroyed in 2015. That's basically just another hint to the same puzzle that the skeleton told us about. Oh, if we had 10 more coins, then we could activate Big Brother's shop. Now we're just hoping if I can come across some coins from one of these, but I guess not. Oh well. When we get 100 coins, I'll have to go down and buy that dragon skull bone that I meant to do now. It's a little bit annoying that we have to return for that later, but that dragon bone skull is exceptionally vital. We need to grab it, even though we can't use it for a very long time. But it's a good idea to get it now, because otherwise you have to go out of our way to get it later. And now let's activate the moon. So now it's time for us to take on the boss of this area, since we have activated the Ankh being summoned and we have the jewel to be able to summon it with. So it's worth saying that this boss is probably the single hardest boss in the entire game, if you don't go ahead and go to future areas to get more health. So this is Sakit. But of course I'm limiting myself to completing the game in a linear fashion, which makes him practically impossible, because we have to get very lucky and skilled. So we have to wait until he throws his arm at us like that, which has a chain attached to it, and then we can run on the chain and attack his head. All the while we need to make sure we're avoiding all these rocks that are falling. And we have to hope that he gets closer to us, because the further away he is, the less time we have to hit him before we have to return to safety. Because when that chain recoils, it does damage. So we have to make sure we don't get hit by it. There is also one more attack he does when he shoots his cannon at us. There it is. You just have to time it with some experience to know when to jump to avoid it. So it's worth saying that if we stand down here beneath this platform, then we won't get hit by any of the rubble that falls from up here. But of course it doesn't give us much space to avoid his arm cannon blast, so we have to avoid that up here. I'm jumping a little bit late with that. Or early rather. Okay, since we can't do any damage to the head anymore, it activates the second phase. And this is when the boss becomes excruciatingly difficult. So we have to jump early so that that cannon goes over us. And we have to jump over the fire that's on his arm, otherwise we take damage. It's actually beneficial to get hit by the rocks that fall, because they only do about 2 points of damage to you, and every other attack does a lot more. So you can use them for invincibility frames to get over the fire. Wow, and we killed it. That only took me about 6 times. So as I mentioned, it's a lot easier to come back here later if you have more hit points. Because before you fight any boss in the game, you can get around 360 health, which is like 3 times the amount we have now. And you can get a more powerful main weapon. I have something important to tell you. Okay. Let's go back to the surface then. Last time it was a joke, but hopefully this time it's real. A story passed down from a village. Those that set them complex traps in the ruins are waiting for the strong one. I don't know who's waiting, it's just an old legend. I find it hard to believe that anyone could live in these ruins, but legend has it someone sleeps within the ruins, waiting to help the strong one. I thought it might be good for you to keep an eye out for that sort of thing. Of course, it seems like your research is coming along, of course. I have no idea what this someone is supposed to be sleeping. Or where this someone is sleeping, rather. So before we exit this part, I first off want to get some more coins. Okay, so now we need to get enough money to be able to collect the dragon's skull. That cost us 100 coins. So we could either hope that these enemies drop us money, or we can go and get another treasure chest. And there is actually one more treasure that's now available to us because we picked up a waterfall helmet. So if you remember, we never made progress this side because of this waterfall. But now if we destroy this brick wall here, we can get more treasure. Which means we can now go and pick up the dragon skull. And again, I'm getting it now because it's a lot easier to get it now rather than later. Because despite the maze currently being a complete maze that wraps around on itself and is hard to navigate, to reach the dragon skull is actually very straightforward. You just have to go down, up and down. And here is the dragon skull hole. The dragon bone. Take this to the shrine of a mother. So that is a second usable item. So we could use it right here, but it doesn't do anything. And here it just tells us about trying out items. So we won't be using this dragon bone for a very long time, but when we do use it, it's going to be very useful. So this is where we'll call it an episode again. So we've picked up in this episode the helmet and the Hermes boots, the shuriken and the dragon bone. We've also beaten the second boss of the game. So in the next part we'll be heading to the third area, where we'll be getting a lot more items and also get about 2 more weapons, including a new main hand weapon. So we'll be doing a lot more damage. So until then, be lovely to each other.